Hi, I'm Spenta, and today I'm sitting by my gardens right next to my hosta plants. They have flowered. There are lots of blooms on hosta plants, looking gorgeous, attracting butterflies, bees, hummingbirds, and a couple of insects that I have no idea what they were, but they are here. So they're enjoying my hosta blooms. I'm Spenta. Your subscriptions, comments, likes are greatly appreciated. There is that one bug that I was speaking of. He just flew by. He's very strong and powerful. I might be able to get him in this video, I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about hostas. And by the way, check out my content. I have more gardening share and I have more shares on hosta. And I would like you to check it out because hostas are awesome. They're great plants. They're very hardy in the US. I live in USDA Zone 7 and they are known to be very good tropical plants as they grow very well in shade. They are shade tolerant plants and they would make a great addition to your gardens if you're going to plant them next to shrubs or other trees, even next to herbs. As you see back there, I have some thyme, and over here some mint and some daisies growing, and if I go further there is going to be some iris, and there's going to be that beautiful barberry plant. I have a Persian barberry, I have Japanese barberry, and I have other plants. And now back to the hosta. Let's discuss it a little bit. These beautiful funnel-shaped flowers, they actually attract the hummingbird. The nectar is so good for the bees, and actually they're used as wonderful pollinator attractors. Hostas are very easy to grow and they are amazing and gorgeous to add to your gardens. They're perennials. Perennial means that it comes back. However, some hostas are actually growing all year round, especially if you live in a tropical climate where they are around 70 degrees, maybe 65 degrees Fahrenheit to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the ideal temperature for these hostas. As soon as the weather heats up, they start flowering, and the weather has started to heating. It's been heating up for the past few days. We are in the summer season here in USDA Zone 7. As I get close to some of these flowers, you can see what they actually look like and why they attract so many gorgeous insects. And they are lovely as a pollination plant in your garden, because if you're planting these, you could also grow other plants. I grow many other flowers, I grow produce, I grow herbs, and I grow these throughout the year. I'm a cultivator, therefore these plants actually help bring in more pollinators. The more pollinators, the better your gardens will grow, as these little insects have fuzz and hair on them, and they will be transferring it from one plant to another plant. Growing hostas are quite easy. Hostas come in different colors and different shades. This hosta that's here, notice it has darker green, darker green leaves with a little bit of a lime yellow to the side. I also have some lighter ones in the back, and I also have some hostas that are completely different, like this with white on it instead of yellowish. And the flowers vary a little bit. One of them is more purple, one of them is more blue, yet they are still funnel shaped. They give so many flowers. Each stem right here that's coming out shoots out about 50 flowers. It can shoot up to 50 flowers, and a few stems come out each year, so that's a lot of flowers. This right here has about 12 right here, and if each will give 50 flowers each, that means that it will continue to grow flowers for up to 3 to 4 weeks, if not more. What you can do is you could, if you wanted to, you could cut your hostas down on these stems right here. You could cut them down, and it will promote growing your hostas to continue to grow more. Notice that I don't have a lot of yellow on my plants. That's because the best way to save your hosta plants from other creatures such as slugs or other bugs that might get attracted to this is to keep it clean in the base. Make sure you trim out old flowers or definitely trim out old leaves. They don't like to be surrounded with so much clutter, just like other people are not into clutter. Plants are not into clutter. It loves well-drained soil, so plant it somewhere where it sees well-drained soil. And as I mentioned, it does best in part shade to full shade. However, you can put it in a place where it sees up to 6 hours of morning sun. I have a hosta that I could share with you. It's also gorgeous, and it is growing in a place where it gets 6 hours of sun. These don't. They get a couple of hours of sun, and that's really nice for them. That's proper for the plants. Yesterday, I was cleaning some hostas, and these hostas are older hostas. They're a few years old, and that means you can actually take cuttings from the base being this area. So let's get to the base of the plants. You could actually take cuttings from there. The best time to take cuttings would be around spring. I was able to pick some cuttings because right here the cutting came out, and I save all my old pots and pans and everything you can think of that actually stores plants in it. I save it all because it's part of what I do. I cultivate and I grow my own plants, and I want to make sure I have enough to actually place plants in. So yes, I have lots of pots. Somebody asked me, do you have a lot of pots, and you're going to need continual pots for your plants? I said, oh, that's correct. And some people donate, so it's always nice to have that. Now let's talk about this hosta. It's transplanted, and as you see, I have kept the base very moist, and I'm placing it out of the sun, completely out of the sun. That's a sample of what you'd like to do, is to place it completely out of the sun, and it'll grow just like that. It's growing a new one right there, so it'll grow a new continual new leaves for you. They grow in clusters, so it's really best that every 3 to 5 years you can start dividing your hostas and actually take divisions and place them in other locations. It's best to do those in the springtime. I highly recommend removing your little hostas as the eyes pop up in the spring, to remove them and place them in another location. Make sure it's a shady location, part shade to shade. And also the hostas, they prefer somewhere that is well drained. As I mentioned, you need to have good soil, about pH of neutral, and also I recommend that you leave spacing in the ground about 1 foot deep and about 2 feet wide is how much they will grow, and so you need to have space. Keep that in mind. Another thing about hostas are they do come in variety of colors and variety of shapes. Just keep in mind that a leaf can be more straight or more wide, or it could look like a heart. Just remember to pick the kind that you like, and just make sure they're different than the ones that grow in full shade. The ones that grow in full shade, the leaves will burn on them if you move them and transplant them to a sunny location. So these are my hostas, some of my hostas up front. I use hostas as borders. They're great bordering plants, and I love to use them as just an addition to my gardens. They're pretty, they're hardy, they're winter hardy. Last winter was negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, the one before negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. And the weather made it, so the weathering, the hostas made it through the weathering. So that's pretty nice for me. And here again are the beautiful hosta flowers that attract many pollinators, bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. I hope you consider planting hostas in your gardens. They're lovely plants, lovely flowers, very hardy. If you have any questions about how to grow hostas, let me know. They're quite easy to grow. I'm Spenta, and I thank you for watching my share. I wish you a beautiful day.